This is your official warning. Never, under any circumstances, eat meat in front of a devout vegan, because their judgment will be relentless. And conversely, if you're a vegan, make sure you know exactly what you are putting into your mouth. The consequences of confusion can be catastrophic and hysterically funny. I knew this girl, let's call her Chloe, who is super vegan. Not just ethically vegan, but militantly, performatively vegan. Anytime she ever saw me eating meat, she would launch into a full-scale lecture. She'd sigh dramatically, recoil as if my chicken nugget contained a small, screaming soul, and then say things like, you shouldn't eat that. It's contributing to massive suffering, you know? Her disapproval was a constant, low-level thrum in our social interactions. I was constantly made to feel like a morally bankrupt carnivore simply for ordering a burger. I tolerated it, knowing that my quiet, smoky bacon was a better defense than any argument. But I silently longed for the day I could turn the tables. And then, one day, the universe delivered. I was at the mall food court, a neutral zone, I thought, and I saw Chloe sitting alone. She was staring intently at a tray of food, lifting a golden brown stick to her lips. She bit into it, and a glorious, milky white strand stretched tantalizingly before snapping back. She was eating mozzarella sticks. My internal voice shouted with incredulous joy. I walked over, trying to contain the sheer, unadulterated pleasure of the moment. I gave her a slow, confused, and intensely skeptical look. She noticed me immediately. Her expression, usually one of serene moral superiority, became instantly defensive. Why are you looking at me? She demanded. I maintained the look. Chloe, I said, my voice carefully flat. Do you know what you're eating? She rolled her eyes, clearly annoyed by my intrusion. Yes, I know. They're mozzarella sticks. I nodded slowly. Okay, but aren't you not allowed to eat that? What are you talking about? They're veggie friendly, she stated, waving the stick dismissively. I pressed my advantage, pointing at the gooey evidence. You're eating cheese. She looked genuinely bewildered, glancing at the food, as if it had betrayed her. What? This doesn't have cheese in it. I almost choked on my own air. Yes, it does. It's literally in the name. It's called a mozzarella stick. The silence that followed was a beautiful thing. Chloe's eyes went wide, and the color drained from her face as the full horror of the situation dawned on her. Wait, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Are you serious? I didn't know mozzarella was cheese. I stared, waiting for the punchline that never came. She continued, articulating the single most absurd, high-level misunderstanding of culinary origins I've ever heard. I just thought mozzarella was the name of the person who created it. Like the inventor's name, like Mrs. Mozzarella's famous veggie sticks or something. At that point, she started freaking out. She threw the half-eaten stick back onto the tray, stood up abruptly, and tossed the remaining mozzarella sticks, the beautiful, perfect, golden treasures, into a nearby trash can. She was genuinely distraught, realizing she had violated her core ethical tenet with a crunchy, fried delight. It kind of made me sad to see perfectly good fried dairy go to waste, but the emotional victory was priceless. She didn't try to lecture me that day. In fact, she hasn't looked me in the eye since. But I'm absolutely, completely ready for the next time she tries to get sanctimonious about my diet. I'm just going to respond by saying, with the confidence of someone who knows the difference between a fruit and an egg, girl, I know the mozzarella enthusiast ain't talking.